Yeah, what's up with y'all boys and girls, man? Hey, it's Jay Briggs here with Big Al McMorty with picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition. We missed y'all last week, man. Of course, there was a lot going on with the holidays and the NFL scheduling weird. It just was a weird week for us, so we did take the week off, but we're back. No Sean Murphy this week. She'll be back with us for the NFL playoffs next week, but me and Al, man, last week of the regular season, we finna cook it up and try to smash it per usual. Big Al McMorty, how you doing today, sir?
Good. Yeah, last week was weird just because we usually do the shows on Wednesdays and Christmas actually fell on Wednesday. That's like a once out of, I guess, 7 years that it's going to happen that way. So just kind of threw everyone into kind of a weird schedule thing. So hopefully the next 6 years we'll never miss Christmas week again. But
Right,
7 years from now it'll probably happen again. So,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, no, it was good. I mean, I took the family to Las Vegas. The girls had never, they're young kids. They'd never been to Las Vegas before. So it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to maybe getting back there in March with the Pick Dawgz crew for the tournament. And yeah, things have been going good. It was a great 2024, and we hope to make it an even better 2025.
Yes, sir. Al hit the nail right on the head, man. Haven't seen y'all boys here on the NFL show since 2024, so it's a new year, new goals, new opportunities. I'm ready to smash it, man, and end the NFL 24-25 season off on the right foot. Al, there was no Thursday game this week, but we do have two Saturday games. We're recording this on Friday afternoon. So let's hop in. Al, you ready?
Yeah, and also one of the benefits of doing it later for this week is the numbers are all goofy with players not playing, and I don't know if it would have done any good to do this week on a Wednesday anyway, with how the numbers are moving. It's better to probably wait for week 18. Probably better to wait till Friday to do the thing anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's do it, man. Let's hop right in. Let's see what the week has in store for us. First game we'll talk about is the Cleveland Browns. They're on the road facing the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens laying 20? Total of
Yeah,
41 and a half? Is this the NFL or the NBA?
yeah, right. I'm going to look at the total in this game. The Ravens, they're 9-4-1 over the total their last 14 home games. Cleveland 13-5 over the total their last 18 road games. And I just like this to be a high scoring game on Saturday. So I'm going to take it over the 41 and a half.
I'm just following the same formula I've stuck to all season long for the Ravens. When they play outside of divisional opponents, I'll lay whatever. Those are the teams that kick the crap out of. When they play in division opponents, those are the teams they usually struggle with most. Yes, the Ravens are head and shoulders better than the Browns in this specific matchup. It would not shock the hell out of me if the Ravens won this game by 21 plus. But getting 20 points in a division game, especially when the Ravens struggle most against divisional opponents, I feel like I got to be there. So I don't want to overcomplicate it. They're going to give me 20, Al. I'm going to grab 20 in the
Yeah,
NFL.
and yeah, and you just actually sparked some thought. I'm just curious. I mean, obviously, you get 20 points once in a blue moon in the NFL, but what I am curious about, I'm just going to look at point spreads in the NFL north of, what do you call it, 14, say. So let's say 14 and a half and above. And I'm just curious if there's a difference between division and non-division games generally. Um, how it goes. So like if you just look at NFL underdogs of greater than 14 points, they've gone 102 and 95 ATS. No real difference between division and non-division games. Division games 47 and 47, non-division games 55 and 48. Of course, I agree with you. The Ravens, they're a special animal outside the division. They basically dominate. So that's a unique situation in the NFL.
Yes, sir. Something to keep an eye on, something to look at there. It's not fun fading Baltimore, though, guys. I understand. I definitely understand. Let's keep it rolling, though. We head over to Saturday night football. I don't know if I've said that too many times this season. We got an important game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers, home dogs, with the team right now currently on the outside looking in of the playoffs. But I promise you, all the teams in the playoffs are praying this team don't get in. We got the Cincinnati Bengals laying 2.5 in Pittsburgh. They can get into the playoffs. They need some help. So let me break it down. What they need in order to make the playoffs, they need a Jets win over the Dolphins on Sunday, and they also need a Chiefs win over the Broncos. We'll talk about that Chiefs game in a little bit. It looks like the Chiefs are going to sit everybody. And that's what the line seems to indicate, as Denver is 10.5-point favorites in that game. So those are the two situations the Bengals need in order to make the playoffs. They need the Denver Broncos to lose, and they need the Dolphins to lose. I think they handle their business on their own end, though. They got to take care of themselves first, and I think they do that. Earlier in the season, the Steelers team was looking like, oh, my God, watch out for the Mike Tomlin Steelers. Al McMorty was kind of saying, I don't know, though.
It turned out I was right. It just took me 17 weeks to get there.
Yes, it did.
But they had a winning record, so I was wrong. I mean, I didn't think they were any good, and they won in spite of it. And he does it again.
Yeah, man. But this team has now dropped 3 straight games. Do they make it 4? I think they do. I'm on the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think Pittsburgh has the offense to necessarily take advantage of how bad the Bengals defense is. And I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and that Cincinnati offense are just playing at such a historic level right now that they're going to overcome whatever Pittsburgh throws at them. So I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase likely will not make the playoffs. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But I think they end their season off with a bang, one of the more historic seasons I remember. Give me Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals outright on the money line, or just lay the 2.5. It might be 3 come kickoff. I would lay the 3 as well. Al, how you feeling here?
I'm going to look at the total again for this game. Pittsburgh has played 19 of its last 28 home games under the total, including 9-0 under when the over-under line was greater than 41. Here, I mean, it's as high. It was as high as 48.5 earlier in the week. It's still 48.5 minus 20 cents at Pinnacle. Most places have it 48, 47.5. I would take it under the total.
Fair enough. That concludes Saturday for us. Let's move on to Sunday's action. We have the Tennessee Titans. 1.5-point home favorites over the Houston Texans. Interesting game we got going on here. Al, how you feeling?
Oh my God, this is, I think, one of the toughest games on the board for me. If you recall, Tennessee's only covered 2 games this year. One was against the Miami Dolphins on that Monday nighter, where it went over the total and they scored all those crazy points at the end. And then the other game they covered was when they upset Houston about 5 weeks ago. I remember getting into an argument with Mitch on that game. This is just one of those games that I really don't want any part of whatsoever. I mean, it's complete bottom of the barrel for me. If I have to pick it, I guess I would take Tennessee. But I mean, it's, I wouldn't bet this game with your money.
This game is really tough. I'm gonna take the Texans because I feel like if I take the Tennessee Titans, I'm just even if they win, it's just not a play I want to make. This team is just terrible. They're one of the worst ATS teams ever.
Correct.
So y'all know me. I hate sharp chaser special plays. I hate those. And I feel like Tennessee as a favorite is yelling sharp chaser special. Do I understand the path? Yeah, I understand the path, but that still doesn't mean I have to bet it. So I'm just going to take the better team, Texans. I know they don't really have anything to play for.
I mean, because that's the thing, right? I mean, like
I know.
that's what makes this week hard. You say, "Oh, I'll take the better team," or even if you get into stuff like win percentages, I'll take like if you have angles that might say play on certain teams if they've got a 666 or better win percentage. Well, they may have had a 666 or better win percentage from weeks 1 through 16, but that's not the team that's going to be on the field this week. So
Sure.
it kind of makes it all kind of difficult
Yeah,
when you do the analysis. But yeah.
yes, it does. This is
Because this isn't the Houston Texans playing the Tennessee Titans. It's the Week 18 Houston Texans playing the Tennessee Titans. So
yes, it is. But does that still warrant Tennessee being favored over anybody? And I don't know if it does. I just don't know if it does.
yeah, I mean, one of the things I like to do, Jay, in the final 2 weeks of an NFL season, when you get to the end of the year, if you take home teams off back-to-back straight up and ATS losses, they do pretty well as long as they're not favored by 2 or more points. That's the situation here. So you've got a team. What are they on a 5-game Suez losing streak or whatever it is? Final home game of the year, laying a short number, laying 1.5. I guess that's my cutoff. I'll lay the 1.5. I wouldn't go higher.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em. So basically, like I said, I understand the path for Tennessee. I'm not mad at anybody betting the Titans like I have been any other game this season. I've pretty much laughed at anybody that's put their money on Tennessee in any situation this season. This will not be one of those weeks. There is a path there. Still don't know if I'm ready to do it. So
right. Yeah, no. I mean, it's like I said, it's bottom of the barrel for me, but I also don't want any part of Houston, playing nobody.
Fair. So. Small lean on the Texans for me, but like Al said, bottom of the barrel. Let's keep it rolling. That was a divisional battle. We got another divisional battle here. We got a lot of division battles to close out the season. Is it all division battles?
All division.
Oh, here we go.
They've been doing this for a while now. They close out the year with only division games.
So, yep, all division battles this week. We got the Atlanta Falcons laying 7.5 points on the Carolina Panthers. Give me the Panthers plus the points in this one. Atlanta wins. Atlanta needs to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, but I think they're gonna miss. Ultimately, Carolina has improved slightly as the season has progressed, and I think they got beat up by a divisional opponent last week in Tampa. I think they closed their year off playing their other divisional opponent pretty well. I know they're on the road. I know Atlanta has something to play for, but Atlanta's not a lay 7 and a hook style team, in my opinion. So I don't think Carolina's just going to come in here and lay down. Lean towards the Panthers plus the points in this division battle for me. Al, how you feeling?
I feel the exact same way. I there's not much more I can add to it. You had the same situation last week also in that Seahawks-Bears game. Seattle had to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, where Chicago was already knocked out of the playoffs. And that's never a good situation for the team that has to win. Same thing here. The Falcons must win in order to have a chance at the playoffs. Carolina's already been eliminated. Carolina's the play. It's counterintuitive. A lot of people think the opposite. Oh my God, this team has to win, therefore, but it doesn't work that way. The odds makers increase the odds. And look what they did with the Seattle-Chicago game. They made it 3.5. Well, Chicago covers by the half point. Here you've got, like you said, I mean, this is just not a good enough football team to be laying 8 points. We've talked about it frequently on this show. The Falcons are not a good team. They have a negative scoring margin of minus 1.75 points a game. You do not want to lay 7 or more points with those types of ball clubs. Just take the points with Carolina and go to sleep.
Let's do it, Panthers. Let's see if them boys come out and get us a cover on Sunday. We stay in the NFC South. we'll go to the other two. We got the New Orleans Saints in Tampa Bay. Tampa laying 14. Um, for the Bucks, it's simple: win and in. If they lose, then they open the door for the Falcons. Um, I don't love this game either, Al. I really don't. But I'm gonna lay the 14 with the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Saints are terrible. This is ultimately what it comes down to, and I think Tampa Bay is still motivated in this game. The reason I like Tampa is I know they're laying a lot of lumber, but and contract incentives for a couple of their guys, like Mike Evans. Man, he's playing for legacy in this game. I think he's 100 yards away from another 1,000-yard season. I didn't think that was possible when he went down and missed all them games earlier this season, but he's like 100 yards away. Baker has had an amazing season. I think Baker has a couple of contract incentives as well. There's a path here where the Bucks, a team who I have bet quite often, who I think is a really under the radar style team that is a good football team that won a playoff game last year that could shock somebody again this season. I know it's 14. I know it's a division game, but I just feel like Tampa is motivated to play here. I'm gonna lay it. Not all that in love with laying 14 in this style game, but deep down I do believe it's the right play. How you feeling here, Al?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you for different reasons. I don't care about the motivation. I don't care about, I think the first thing you said is New Orleans is just not a very good football team right now. I think that's the most important point.
Sure.
New Orleans may be motivated. Tampa Bay may be motivated. New Orleans just doesn't have the personnel. They got just 10 points last week against the Raiders at home. So now that in their final home game of the year, that was the effort they put up. Just 10 points, get blown out. Now they have to go on the road for their final game. I don't want any part of them. I don't like taking road teams in the season finale. If they laid an egg at home the week before and scored 10 or less points, those teams suck the next week on the road in their finale. So, I've got no problem laying the points.
Fair enough. That was the NFC South. Let's scoot over to the AFC. Buffalo laying 3 on the New England Patriots.
I didn't realize the line was 3.
It's 3.
It is 3. Yeah. It was 2.5 earlier, but I guess it got bumped up.
So, are there some are you aware of what's going on with Buffalo injury-wise? Are they sitting guys? What's going on here?
I don't really know. I'm not really a player handicapper. I don't really care about the players all that much as far as, they have to be sitting some people because they were favored by double digits just 2 weeks ago against New England, at home. Now they're only laying 3, so that implies, yes, they are sitting people.
Right. How you feel about the game overall?
I like New England. I just think, it's a quick revenge game. They met within the last couple weeks. That situation is generally favorable to the team that lost when the two teams meet so soon thereafter. So I'll take New England plus the 3.
I'm going to take New England plus the 3 with you. There's Buffalo is. What are they playing for here? Pride.
I never. I mean, the reality is that if you're on the field, you're playing hard. So
Sure.
if the coaches decide to rest the personnel, well, now they just have less talented people on the field. I mean, everyone plays hard.
Sure.
So that's really never the issue. The issue is who's going to be on the field.
But that's the question I'm trying to answer. Is like,
right.
So Buffalo, they're locked into their seating. The only reason I could see them playing their starters for any amount of time would just be to try to minimize rust for the following week.
It's just stupid to play the starters. I mean, maybe they play them a quarter, but there have been I mean, I remember what was the game? I think the Spurs years ago, they played a meaningless game at the end of the year and Ginobili got injured. I mean, it's just like there's no the risk reward is just dumb. You know,
So
you know.
then the question I have to ask myself is Buffalo considered one of the deeper teams in the NFL? And do I like their backups enough to want to lay points on the road with this team? And the answer
Yeah.
to that question is no. When I think of Buffalo, I don't think of depth as one of their biggest strengths. I think Buffalo's more of a top end heavy team. That's why they're so good. They have a lot of top end talent on the roster. And
Yeah.
so if they're going to be sitting guys like I think they should, I just don't want to be laying points with them on the road in a
It seems
non-motivational
McDermott.
spot.
Yeah, McDermott says that it's very important for Josh Allen to start because he's got a long consecutive game start streak. But he said he's not going to be out there long, so that implies maybe one series or maybe one down. I mean, it could literally be like, okay, he started, now let's yank him. Um, so, McDermott said you will see some starters playing, but they're going to be taking a look at other people. So I don't think they're going to play a lot of people. Maybe it's at best one series, which maybe is why you saw the line go from 2.5 back up to 3, because maybe Buffalo will have their starters in just for the first drive, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm on the Patriots. I just don't trust the depth of Buffalo full game to be laying points on the road. And I think New England, the players that are in that locker room, as the season has gone on, I believe they like Gerard Mayo. That was something I was worried about when losing a Hall of Fame head coach like Bill Belichick. That's a hard job to take over from somebody like that. But it seems like this locker room does genuinely like the guy. They've had some, from a talent perspective, the roster just isn't good in New England. But that's when I like to look at coaching and see what coaches can get out of least talented rosters. And I think Mayo has done a decent job of kind of keeping everybody in the locker room together. I think they play for him here in their last game of the season. I don't know if they win the game outright, but I'll grab 3 with a home dog, fading a team full of backups, more likely than not. So give me New England. We keep it rolling. We head over to Indianapolis, where the Colts. The Colts are 5-point home favorites over the Jacksonville Jaguars. That fucking coach. I just knew we weren't going to win, and it was going to be the worst beat I ever had. They lost to the Giants last week, Al, with the playoffs on the line. Like, are they serious?
I heard you had a bet with Ron for a hat.
Yes, I did.
Oy.
Oh, man, that Colts, man. The thing about this team, they drop an egg like that and then probably come out here this week and take.
Well, that's what but that's the Colts. I mean,
the Colts.
they're one of the best teams, if not the best team, off a straight up loss. They're 61-36-1 ATS following a loss in their previous game. They're up, down, up, down. That's the Colts.
That's the Colts.
So I'm on them too.
I feel like we gotta bet them here, man. I hate it. But sign me up on that Colts. That coach. Anything you want to add for that game? Or?
No. But I think, yeah, I like the Colts to bounce back off that upset loss.
There we go. We head to Jerry World. Where my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, are 6.5-point home dogs with the Washington Commanders rolling in. Commanders pulled one out their ass last weekend. They tried to give it away and then came back and got it. How you feel?
That was brutal for me. I had Atlanta in that game, and when they lost the coin toss, I was like, I turned the TV off. I was like, fuck this. You knew what was going to happen.
Pathy tells me all the time, you do not want the dog in overtime.
Yeah.
Pat
Well,
says that all the
you
time.
just can't lose. You can't lose the coin toss in an NFL overtime.
Yep. Yep. How you feeling here? You laying it with the Commanders, or does the Cowboys stand up last home game of the season?
I like the Cowboys. Yeah, 6.5 points. I mean, it's an underdog series. The Cowboys and Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them. The underdog has gone 40-18 ATS if the opponent wasn't off a loss. So with Washington coming in off that overtime win, I'll take Dallas.
Not a game I'm rushing to the window to bet, but I'll lean towards my Cowboys as well. Um, the Commanders, they are in already, so not a whole lot of motivation for them here in this game, except for just beating up on their divisional rival. Trying to keep rust off. There's just nothing here though that says lay 6.5 with the Commanders. Is ultimately why I'm just taking the Cowboys. We've talked about many a times on this show, the Commanders are just not a lay point style team. They never really have been. They may start to become that with Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels over there, but for right now, I still don't trust them. It's probably Cowboys may win this game outright, or if they don't, it's probably like a late walk-off field goal for the Commanders. This game kind of reminds me of that Buffalo game where it's just like, do I trust the backups for the Commanders? Do I think of the Commanders as one of the deepest teams in the league that is going to, just come in here and dominate the game like their ones would? And I don't think so. Dallas, it would be best if this team just tanked, but that's not who they've been, sadly. I wish we would have got a better draft pick, but this team's still playing with some pride. This team still won't quit. The Cowboys are the style team they actually want to win this game, sadly. So I lean towards Dallas, but I don't know if I'm going to actually get to the window with it. Next game up. We're in Philadelphia, where the Eagles are laying 2.5 points on the New York Football Giants. The Giants stole one last week, a lot of people say. Eagles pretty much sitting everybody. Saquon not going for the record. Jalen Hurts has been out. Looks like he'll be out here again in this one. A.J. Brown probably not playing. Do you trust the backups here? Are the Eagles out?
Well, I'm going to take the under in the game. Philadelphia put up 41 against your boys last week, but they're 21-8 to the under following a game where they scored north of 40 points. The Giants have just been an under team, forever. 53-26 with a push. Their last 80 games, they've gone under the total. 53-26 and won. So for me, I'm just going to take this game under the 37.5.
I'm on the Eagles. If there is a team where I feel like their backups come through and I can trust them, it's Philly. And the Giants off a huge win or a fade. It's pretty much what it boils down to for me. Yeah, the Giants messed up their draft seat positioning last week. I don't think they messed it up too much more and beat the Eagles this week. This is a team that needs a high draft pick. This is a team that needs to hit the reset button. I like Drew Lock. And I know Drew Lock could give two shits about all of what I'm saying, I definitely understand that. Drew Lock's still out there going to play for a win, play for a contract, play for whatever. And most of the Giants players will. I definitely understand that. But in Philly, off the huge win, there's better things for me to do than try to catch a falling knife 2 Sundays in a row with the Giants. So give me Philly. I just don't want to overcomplicate it. Their twos are decent twos, and I think they'll come in here and still win the football game. So give me Philadelphia, my Super Bowl favorite in the NFC. Let's keep rolling. We head over to Green Bay, where the Pack are laying 10 on the Bears. Total 41.5. I've been fading Chicago for most of the season. I'm not stopping now. Give me the Packers. I'll lay the points here in this one. The Bears, ever since that Hail Mary from the Washington Commanders, this team has been in a free fall of terribleness. And I'm just not ready to jump back in and try to think that the last week of the season is the week that they finally show a pulse. Green Bay, off the tough loss last week, probably establishes some momentum heading into the postseason. I think they beat up on their divisional opponent. They own the Chicago Bears. That's something I will continuously talk about. Is how the Packers always seem to beat up on the Bears. Give me Green Bay. I'll lay it. Al?
Yeah, I'm going to join you. Chicago covered last week in spite of the fact they only got 3 points. I think the more important part is they only got 3 points. So I don't want any part of Chicago. They're also 11-33 ATS on the road versus winning teams that were not off a Suats win. That's Green Bay. We'll take the Packers.
Go, Pack, go. We keep it rolling. We got the Rams land 6.5 points on the Seattle Seahawks.
No other way around.
Is it?
Seattle's
Oh, yeah,
favorite.
sorry. Yeah, you're right. Seattle laying 6.5 points on the Los Angeles Rams. It looked like for a minute this game was going to be meaningful. It's not. The Rams are locked in. They're done. They're in the postseason. Seattle, they're done. They're out of the postseason. This game has nothing weighing on it from a playoff-making perspective. Still 2 divisional opponents, man. Seattle, a little upset about getting put out last week. Do they come and take some frustration out on the Rams?
I mean, Sean McVay's already signaled he's not going to play anyone. You can take McVay at his word. Even when they do play people, they've never done well off back-to-back wins since McVay's become coach. They're 18-31 ATS in that situation, including 6-15 ATS at home. I don't want any part of the Rams on a win streak without their players on the field. To hell with that. I'll take Seattle.
Fair enough. I'm taking Seattle as well. Rams, they chilling. They could give 2 shits about this game. Playoffs is the following week. Seattle, sitting there mad. Damn, we missed the playoffs, bro. We had them. We was there. They were who is that? What's the tight end for the Cardinals name? McBride. They were a McBride touchdown away. Their playoff hopes bounced right off the face mask of McBride last week. I watched that entire game. Cardinals almost got them boys in. They tried. They sure tried. Kyler threw that late pass to McBride that bounced off his face mask. Interception. I said, oh. I know the whole Seattle fandom, players, everybody was upset about that one. But, yeah, it's just nothing here for me for the Rams, So I'll lean towards the Seahawks. Land the points here in this one. Next game up, we head to New York, where the Jets are 1-point home dogs with the Miami Dolphins rolling in. The Dolphins, Al, they can still make the playoffs. They need some help. We kind of talked about it earlier. They need the Chiefs to beat the Broncos and for them to win this game, and they make the postseason. That's the route for Miami. First, they got to take care of their business. I don't think they do it, though. I'm taking the Jets outright, money line. I know. I've been Mr. Fade the Jets all season long. I have been. One thing me and Money Man Mitch did to start the season was just clown the Jets. It's one of my favorite things to do this season. And I've been on the Dolphins recently. I've taken them in back-to-back weeks. I believe they were my top play last week in the NFL. The main stat I was using was the Dolphins love playing teams below 500. Look at Mike McDaniel's record against teams below 500 and look at his record against teams above 500. And technically, I could still use that angle in this game. The problem is I don't trust the Dolphins in meaningful games. I just don't. Like, whenever you think this team is finna do something, they never do it. And so, basically this being like a mini playoff game for them, I think the Jets actually shocked the world and end their season off on the right foot. I know we're seeing reports that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams will not be on the Jets next season. Could be a tryout just for one more team last game of the year. I don't think either one of them retire. I'm on the Jets. I don't love it, but I do believe it's the right play. I think the Dolphins let down their fans one last time. Mike McDaniel has another coaching blunder. Give me the Jets. I hate it. I hate betting the Jets, but I believe it's the right play. Al?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only team Aaron Rodgers should be playing for next year is the Birmingham Stallions, but that's just me. I'm going to take the Jets with you. Off the 40-14 loss, they lost by 26 points to the Bills last week. And when you get a humdog or pick 'em team with a losing record, they've gone 58-43 ATS in division games off a loss by more than 25 points. We also already talked how the situation where you've got a team that's already been eliminated from the playoffs, they do well against teams that have to win to make the playoffs. So, no, I don't want any part of a Miami Dolphins team with that kind of pressure on them. I'll take the Jets plus the one.
We head to Denver. A lot of eyes on Denver. The last playoff spot in the AFC rolls through Denver. Broncos laying 10.5 on the Kansas City Chiefs. Al, you laying it? Or are you
laying it?
You're laying it?
Laying it all day long.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I mean, this isn't the Chiefs. It's like what I was saying before. It's these teams that are on the field. It might say Kansas City Chiefs on the helmet, but it's not the Chiefs because none of these players were on the team that went 15-1. It's the backups, so they might as well be the Carolina Panthers, right? So yeah, I'm going to take Denver to bounce back. They come into this game off losses to the Chargers and Bengals, and winning teams. They've covered 64% when favored by more than 3 points against opponents off back-to-back wins. So I'll take Denver. I'll lay any number in this game.
I'm on the Chiefs outright money line. It got to be done.
No fucking
yes fucking way. Yes fucking
way. No chance.
Yes chance. Yes okay. Chance. Yes chance. I'm doing it. This is not me telling y'all to tell me. That's not what I'm doing. I'm telling y'all what I'm doing in this game.
No, I get it. No, I respect that.
I'll bet.
And to be fair, I think it's one of the probably going to have two things. It's either going to be a Denver win by 17 to 24 points, or Kansas City's going to just win the fucking game outright and say, "Go fuck yourself."
Man, I think the latter is way more likely to happen. Ultimately, I get it. Broncos, are better than I've given them credit for this season. But I still think we're still talking about a Chiefs team that's been arguably one of the best ever in one-score games in NFL history.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, they just don't lose in these situations.
And when they do lose, it's only like I think what's even more amazing is that the Chiefs never lose by more than one score. It's not that they win the one-score games. It's just that they never lose by 10.
Man. I know it's the backups. It might even be the third stringers. Y'all, I get it, man. I get it. But there's still a path where this is a rookie quarterback with major expectations on his back. All it's going to take really is like an early interception, early touchdown from the Chiefs. Chiefs go up 7-0. Broncos now in trail mode and the house is on fire mode. And didn't we in that low-scoring, one-score game? I don't know. I'm still thinking Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid's still on the sideline coaching, ain't he?
He's going to take a rest himself.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I've seen crazier shit happen. Hell, the Giants beat the Colts last week. Come on, Chiefs. Let's pull one out, man. Let's get Joe Burrow and them in the playoffs. So that's what I'm on. I know it's crazy. I know. And I'm not telling y'all to bet this with me. I'm just telling y'all what I'm betting. And I'm betting Chiefs money line. I've been yelling this from the mountaintops for a couple weeks. Let me be perfectly honest with all of you out there. I have a pretty significant ticket on the Bengals to make the playoffs, so it kind of goes hand in hand with that. Let's do it, Chiefs. Let's do it. Let's keep it rolling, Al. We head over to Las Vegas, where the Raiders are 4-point dogs with the Chargers rolling in. Chargers are set to where they're going to be. They'll be on the road in Baltimore. Going to get the brothers in a playoff game. Oh, man. But first, do they beat up on the Raiders to end their season now?
I'm going to take the points with the Raiders. The Raiders went into New Orleans last week, won that game by 15. They're playing with revenge from a 12-point loss to the Chargers earlier this season. And you take a look at how AFC West Division underdogs have done when playing with revenge from a loss earlier in the year. If they're an underdog of less than 7 points, they've gone 73-43 ATS. So I've got no reason to play on the Chargers, so I'll take the points with the Raiders.
Not a game I'm in love with. I'm actually going to take the Chargers. Take the Chargers. This team, I think they know they're on the road next week at Baltimore. And they have absolutely no room for error in that game. So I think the best thing for them is to come in here and establish some momentum, especially against a bad team like the Raiders. It's just my thoughts. I feel like Harbaugh is one of the coaches that is kind of of that mantra where it's like, just come in, do your job regardless. Come in, run the football regardless. Come in, play Charger-style football regardless. It's not a whole lot of teams I'm looking to lay points with that are not motivated this week, but if there's one, it would probably be the Chargers in this spot. I've been on the Raiders a couple times recently. Not this week. Hashtag take the Chargers for me. Let's keep it rolling, Al. 2 more to go. We got the San Francisco 49ers, 4.5-point dogs in Arizona. This one's fairly simple for me, fellas. I have bet the Cardinals every single game this year. All 17.
They played Dallas this year?
Did they?
I don't know. I'm asking. Cause what would you do if they played Dallas?
No, they didn't. They did not. But yeah, I've bet the Cardinals in 17 games this year. Why not make it 18? It's ultimately what it boils down to for me here. The Niners, they'll be back next season. They'll be back. Just a down year. I'll fade them one last time. Give me Arizona. How you feeling here, Al?
I'm San Francisco's dead to me. That's how I feel.
Same.
They're the most disappointing team in all of the NFL. So I don't want any part of them. I also don't want to go against an Arizona team playing its final home game of the season off back-to-back losses. Arizona's been terrific at home off back-to-back losses, going 61-33 ATS. So give me Arizona.
Al, join me on the Cardinals. Now, finally,
the best game of the weekend.
Let's talk about some actual good football, some actual meaningful football. Oh, my goodness. Man, now we've never had a game with this magnitude to close out a season. We've never had a game with this many regular season wins in a regular season game. One team gets a bye, and to host a playoff game, the other team is on the road week 1 of the playoffs. Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. Stakes really couldn't be any higher. We got the Detroit Lions laying 2.5 points on the Minnesota Vikings. Total 55.5. How you feeling?
Under. Going to go against the grain, go against what everyone's going to think. Let's face it. This is basically a quasi playoff game. At least it'll have the feel of a quasi playoff game. The Lions have played their last 4 games over the total, and NFL teams off exactly 4 overs. They've gone 136 and 72 under the total in division games with over/under lines greater than 36 points. You know, I know it's high risk when you're taking an under in a Dan Campbell game, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I'm on the under in this game as well. You know, I think these teams gonna get a little tight, and in a quarter or two in this game because of the stakes, and that's all it's gonna take really to get us under the total. It's just, you know, one sail pass on third and medium here, and, you know, one stuff on third and one there, or fourth and one. You know how the Lions like to go for it and shit.
They
So
go for it all. Yeah.
yeah, so all it's gonna take is like one or two stall drives, and I think we're fairly comfortable on the under. I like the contrarian look in this spot. I know that Detroit's defense has a lot of banged up injuries. I know that Minnesota's defense hasn't been quite as impressive as it was to start the season. But in a very meaningful game like this, man, you know, I think it gets a little tight. I want the under. And I'm on the Vikings. I'll just tell y'all, I'm on the Vikings. I'm going to take them straight up on the money line. Shout out the Vikings, man. I did not see this coming, but I'm going to continue to roll with them. I am. The Vikings, you know who the Vikings remind me of, Al?
I don't.
I love making NFL and NBA comparisons. It's one of my favorite things to do. The Vikings are the Cleveland Cavs of the NBA. That's who they are.
A team that's really good that's not going to win the title?
That everybody believes is not going to win the title. Yes, they're that exactly. They're that fucking good, but everybody is still waiting on the other shoe to drop. That's exactly how everybody feels about Minnesota, and that's exactly how everybody feels about Cleveland. In the NBA, Cleveland is the number one record team in the NBA and the number one ATS team. Like, man,
Yeah.
the Cavs are really good. And I think the same thing about Minnesota. I did not see the resurgence of Sam Darnold like this. The Heisman. But I'm telling y'all right now, Sam Darnold is playing just about as well as anybody in the league. Maybe you put him one tier down from the MVP candidates like Lamar, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow, but he's definitely in that second bucket this season with all the other quarterbacks. I'm on the Vikings, y'all. I'm on the Vikings. I know they're on the road. I know this venue is going to be rocking for Sunday Night Football, man. I think what I trust in this game is what I trust most is probably the Vikings defense. I think I trust Brian Flores to dial up some pressure in the right moment. Jared Goff probably makes a mistake that's going to cost him. And I'm going to take the Vikings and the under. That's where I'm going to be at here in this last final game.
Yeah, I'm looking at Detroit's stats the last 3 years. You know, so I'm throwing out the first year with Campbell, just the last 3 years. 37-14 and 2 ATS. They've gone over most of their games. 32 out of 53 have gone over. They're 9-1 with a push ATS versus opponents off back-to-back wins. I mean, Detroit's just, as you know, they've just been an ATM machine the last 3 years.
Yes, they have. It's not fun fading the Lions. I've said that all season long. It's not fun. Dan Campbell, he's a winner. He is a winner.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the under. That's all I want to do. Like you said, if it's hard to fade the Fighting Campbells.
Yes, it is. But that's going to conclude the regular season on Picks from the DawgHouse NFL edition, man. Hey, what a hell of a season it was, man. You know, that's really all I can say about it. Al, we made it. Through the ups and downs, we made it, my man. I appreciate you joining me. What will your weekend look like with NFL action? What will you have over at Pick Dawgz Premium?
Believe it or not, I've got 17 plays over at Pick Dawgz. They're all up for sale right now. If folks want to get on board. on a red hot run going. We were doing this Friday, the recording. So through Thursday night's games, I'm 189 and 114. My last 303. So if you folks want to hop on board, you're not going to get much hotter than that. Just go over to Pick Dawgz. I'll have basketball on the weekend as well, and some hockey on Saturday. I think my hockey record for the season is either 17-5 or 18-5, something pretty really good. So I've already got a game circled for Saturday hockey. So yeah, if folks want to join and team me up with Jay on the 2-for-1 handicapper special. I think I was talking to Jay before the show. I think he said he had on the jam session hit 14 straight NBA.
Yes, sir. So, guys, you guys can hop on with me as well. You're getting a lot of NBA right now. Of course, we're in the thick of it, of the NBA. To start the new year, I am 14-0 at the time of recording this episode in the NBA. It's insane. I understand that. But in the NFL, I've had my best 2 weeks in the NFL the last 2 weeks. So, seeing the board fairly well in the NFL as well. Just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward there. I want to say I'm like 8-2, my last 10 in the NFL. So just trying to keep the momentum rolling forward, trying to close the season off on the right foot, heading into the postseason. So best thing to do, like Al said, pair us up, 2-for-1. Make you some money, or just hop on with me, hop on with him long term, and turn a profit over a significant amount of time, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got for y'all, though. Money making Friday. Let's close the year out on the right foot in the NFL. Let's make some money this week. Al, any words before we get out of here?
I guess we'll be back with Sean hopefully next Wednesday for the wild card edition. And Sean Murphy couldn't make it today because he was, taking care of his son at the hockey. Son does travel hockey or something. So. But we'll be back with Sean next week, and we'll talk about wild card football.
Yes, we will. Playoff football next time y'all see us, man. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. See y'all next week with Sean. We're out of here. Peace.